Greetings and salutations, this is Jarsz, the biggest YouTuber ever! And good morning, Jarsholes! Welcome to another edition of the Daily Jarsz for Thursday, the 16th of November, 2023. It's Friday Eve, nearly there. And to celebrate, can the members show some corgis in the chat? A special shout out to those who clicked subscribe yesterday. Welcome to the world of Jarsz. I hope you enjoyed the show. And today we look at one of the most pathetic flirt souls on YouTube. Someone who calls himself a professor just because he read in the dictionary that a professor is one who professes things. He also thinks he's a science expert just because the tiny ninth-rate institution where he got his fine arts degree happened to be managed by their faculty of science, despite not teaching him any physics whatsoever. Unfortunately, we're talking about Kyle Adams. But before I get to him, I want to thank my YouTube members. Thank you once again for all that you do for me, and thanks for being part of the huge Jarsz movement. And thanks again to Siggy Sigwald for all the new members earlier this week. As you probably noticed, I haven't had time to update the member rollers yet. There's so many. Hopefully they'll have that done tomorrow. I'm fat and lazy, remember. Before we move on to Kyle, I want to ask my viewers a favour. I'm sure most of you have heard of the channel Mr. 42. Like me, he got busy with life and had a period of inactivity, but unlike me, he didn't have enough viewing hours to avoid demonetization. He needs people to watch a total of around 20... Oh, hang on, let me share the screen. He needs people to watch a total of around 2,000 hours of his videos to get monetization back. Small channels like ours don't make a lot of money, but some is better than none. So if you can, please do this. Go to his channel. Let me go back to his channel. Oops, there we are. There's his channel. Whoops, go back. Click on playlists. All right. And the one with the most videos, this one, Level Earth Observer is wrong. Click on that. Turn off the sound and leave it running in the background. And that will help out Mr. 42. If 100 of us do that, that'll be a big help to him. So if you can do that, please do it. Incidentally, Mr. 42 will be joining me on Monday to have my fortnightly look at Level Earth Observer, so watch out for that. Now to Kyle. Kyle, let's have a look at his channel. Kyle has created what he calls the Flat Earth Institute of Science. Sorry for laughing, but when I hear those words in combination, the absurdity of them make me involuntarily laugh. We won't be hearing them too much today, hopefully. The reason for creating that institute is so that he can give some credibility to the propaganda videos he puts out full of ill-thought-through facts and blatant misinformation, as we shall see. YouTube deleted the original channel, presumably due to the overwhelming stench of male bovine feces that it produced. And like most flirfs, and in contradiction to the YouTube terms of service, he's created another channel with the subtitle, Abolish NASA. As if that would solve all the flirf contradictions with their fantasy. Kyle, how about you give some objective evidence that NASA are lying before you call for their abolishment, As you can see from his channel description, he actually claims to be a warrior for the truth, despite putting out propaganda to convince the vulnerable to believe in demonstrable nonsense. Let's have a look at some of his videos. Moon Rocks Revisited. Like most of his videos, there are points that have been debunked 1,000 times, but he still keeps putting them out. Oh, that's the other thing. I'm not sure that's copyrighted music, so I'm going to mute the music. And I've left the closed captions on so that we can see when he starts talking. So it's going to be boring for a bit. There we go. In 1973, let's put the sound back on and away we go.
President Nixon went out and distributed a bunch of small fragments of what he claimed to be moon rocks to all 50 states and various other countries. These became known as the Goodwill moon rocks. Now, as you might remember, previously, we took a look at the Dutch moon rock that upon further investigation turned out to be a piece of petrified wood.
And this is a well-documented case. This was fake. It is a piece of petrified wood, and it was all a hoax. So, and it's well documented that it was. Yet Flirst keeps saying that, oh, it proves that moon rocks are fake. No, you're just not looking at all the evidence. You're just looking at the evidence you want to look at.
Also pointed out how, despite its obvious red color, according to the news report, no one thought to question whether it was real or fake. Like it wasn't obvious enough just by...
People did question it, and they proved it was fake. It was all a hoax.
Looking at the rock and comparing it with pictures of the moon. Do you see?
Oh my God. And this is the stupidity of this particular point. Oh, let him keep going, actually.
See any red moon rocks over there? Nope. What?
You're only looking at the surface, Kyle. I mean, if you look at the surface of the Earth, you don't see all the rocks underneath the ground, do you? The ones that they dug out to have a look at.
I think we might have a fake. Oh, but the US would never lie to us, so it must
The US didn't. The hoaxer did. For God's sake, Kyle, keep up.
be real. Now here's Canada's moon rock. It is pitch black. Where would they have gotten a pitch black moon rock on the moon?
Well, most of the rocks on the moon are either comet impacts or they're lava. Lava, if you break it open inside, it's black. That's what they did. That's how they knew it was lava, by breaking it open. And that's why they distributed these rocks, because they know it's just lava. That's why it's black, you idiot.
Do they claim it just burned out the moment they left the moon? Here is Norway's moon rock. And notice how it is also pitch black. And here is Sweden's moon rock. Honduras. But hey, as Rob Skiba pointed out, it isn't as though there was a sticker on the back of the rock that says, "Made on the moon."
Oh, damn it. I clicked onto the next video. Anyway, I think I've made the point there. He's ignored the evidence. Oh, I can go back now. Where was I? Yeah?
The US would never lie to us, so
Yeah,
it must be real. Now here's Canada's moon rock.
Yep.
It is pitch black. Where would they have gotten a pitch black moon rock
I explained
on the
all
moon?
that. Let's jump
Do
ahead.
they claim it just and say, "Hey, this isn't made on the moon. This was made in China"? All they could do was take President Nixon on his word for it, for whatever that is worth, and say,
No, it wasn't President Nixon that sent the fake rock. It was a hoaxer. Can you not listen? And hear the incredulity in his voice, because he doesn't understand, so therefore it's fake. Duh.
yeah, thanks a lot. With President Nixon over there, he bought it hook, line, and...
Is this the exact same thing that was presented to the Dutch? Because that looks very different to the thing he showed earlier.
Stinker. And I'm sure it was all the funnier to him that the rocks were pitch black. Here is Great Britain's moon rock. Australia.
Yes,
Come on, guys.
Oi, oi,
I went
oi.
out hiking one day with my camera, and I
That's not
spotted this
doing anything.
unusual looking cactus that would grow in these long wall patterns. And so I said, "Hey, wow, that is unusual. I have never seen that before." And so I took some pictures of it. Now, if I were to be up there roving around on the moon with my camera, surrounded by nothing but grayish white rocks, and then suddenly spotted a pitch black rock, that would definitely stand out to me. And I would say,
Yes, I think you should look up the video of Apollo 17. In the last minutes of the last EVA, the geologists who went on Apollo 17 found some red rocks. Because he just dug under the surface. It's covered in dust. It's cometary dust. You got to get under the surface to see anything of different colors, just as you do on Earth.
"Wow, that is unusual," and would take some pictures of it. But out of all of their footage, they do not show us any instances of them coming across any black moon rocks.
As I said before, lava rocks aren't necessarily black on the outside, but if you crack them open into tiny little bits, as was distributed in these Goodwill rocks, they are black. I think I've had enough of this one. I don't think he's going to say anything sensible. Well, he's not going to say anything sensible at all, is he? So let's go with the globe Earth is heresy. And again, I'll skip the music at the beginning. I'm doing that to avoid copyright strikes, as hopefully you understand. Oh, hang on, here we go. To start off, let's describe what heresy is.
Heresy is an opinion or doctrine at variance with orthodox or accepted doctrine.
Oh, you mean like flat Earth?
Especially of a church or religious system.
Well, given the vast majority of Christians in the world, and Muslims even, believe that Earth is not flat, you are the heretic, Kyle.
In this case, the globe Earth can be considered a heretical teaching because it is at variance with what the Bible teaches us.
No, it's at variance with how you choose to interpret the Bible, Kyle. And false interpretations of the Bible create an awful lot of havoc throughout history.
Let's take a look at Isaiah chapter 40. To whom then will ye liken God? Or to what likeness will ye compare unto him? The workman melteth a graven image, and the goldsmith spreadeth it over with gold, and casteth silver chains. He that is so impoverished that he hath no oblation, chooseth a tree that will not rot. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved.
What has this got to do with flat Earth? Can you get on with it, Kyle?
Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told to you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon...
Is he telling me he's going to draw from the words foundations of the earth, and of course these words were not written in English originally, that somehow earth and flat? You don't need to be flat to have foundations. The core of the earth could be considered the foundation of the spherical earth. They're just expressing it in terms that the readers will understand. It doesn't mean it's literal.
Upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are...
A circle of the earth. So in other words, couldn't a sphere be considered a circle, especially when you're seeing it in 2D?
As grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in, that bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. Why are you guys going out there looking to make idols? God can't be compared to any idol.
What's this got to do with flat earth? Get on with it.
God is so much greater than all of the earth. Now look at the way Isaiah describes the earth. In verse 21, it says the earth has foundations.
So that is your argument. It says foundations of the earth. They're expressing it in ways that the readers would understand. They can't say from the core of the earth or something like that. Oh, for God's sake. And somehow earth and flat as a result of that. You really are a dope.
And yes, you could describe that as the beginning phases of when the earth was made.
Yeah.
But when we get into verse 22, Isaiah describes the circle of the earth. Isaiah does not describe...
I've already addressed this.
God as sitting upon a ball. And please note...
But it doesn't... It also doesn't say it's sitting on a flat either. Or a disc. It says the circle of the earth, which could be your circle of vision, which is very important on a sphere.
Notice how God describes the heavens as a curtain that is stretched out over the earth. And like...
Again, they're using metaphors that people at the time when this was written would understand.
It unto a tent. There is nothing tent-like above this thing.
Oh, for God's sake. You got to think of it in context of when it was written. You can't just interpret it the way you want to, Kyle. That is dishonest.
Isaiah knew the difference between a circle and a sphere, and had...
Did he? Where's the evidence of that?
Words to describe both of them, and yet he didn't describe the earth as a sphere.
I've actually heard Hebrew speakers tell me that the word used in this Bible passage can be interpreted as a sphere. I'd like, do we have Round Thinker here? Be nice to get some Hebrew thinkers to confirm that for me. Hebrew speakers. Of course, anyone who's a minister of religion, at least in Anglican, which is where I grew up, they've been trained in Hebrew, so they would know that.
Instead, he chose to describe it as a circle. With that, it seems perfect.
Why aren't you going back to the Hebrew to confirm that you've got the right interpretation? You're just taking the English translation and assuming it's correct, and then drawing your own conclusions, which is not the only possible conclusion. That's dishonest.
Clear, Isaiah was describing something more like this.
Yeah, that's tent-like, isn't it? God's sake.
God bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. This reminds me of 1 Corinthians chapter 3.
Again, what's this got to do with the earth? As Dr. Nimrod says, a sphere is a circle too. A circle is a two-dimensional version of a sphere. And plus, if you cut a plane through a sphere, you've got a circle.
Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom...
Well, Kyle, you certainly have become a fool. You're not so good at becoming wise, are you?
Wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their craftiness. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise.
What has this got to do with flat earth? God's sake, I've had enough of this one. On to the next one. So now he's the remaining videos. Well, we're going to finish off with his debate with MC Toon, the one that MC Toon decided to end his participation in modern day debates, but we'll get to that. And he's gone into universities. Well, this one's not at a university, but the other two are, where he talks to students. But we'll get into that. Let's hear what these two guys have to say. Have I got the right speed? Yep, that'll do. Good. Let's just let the music play. Here we go. So in this one, he's gone to Flattoberfest in Las Vegas. This will be a long one.
I'm Kyle Adams. Yeah.
He's making good videos.
Yeah. How long have you guys been flat earthers for?
Probably a little over 6 years. He's about 2 years.
I love how proud they are that they're announcing to the world what idiots they are. I've been a flat earther for 6 years.
2 years. Okay, so you're a little bit newer than he is. So, describe that experience about coming into flat Earth.
Well, I don't think anybody ever wants to. I struggled with it. I heard it work. I automatically denied it. Thought he was an idiot. Went home. The very first thing I seen that same exact night, I looked up at the moon and I was like, that thing was a lot closer. It's lighting up just the clouds around it. It's not lighting up the whole sky. So then I didn't know it was flat at the time. Still believed I thought it was a globe, but I thought there's something to this. So then that kind of piqued my interest. And then a few months in, I made kind of the whole conversion changeover. You got to convince yourself. No one else can. So I wanted to do the research.
Convince yourself. Jeez. Oh. I'm sorry to hear that, Todd Ferguson. Much condolences to you. A family pet is a part of the family. I'm sorry to hear that. On with stupid, I guess.
Search and figure it out myself. Bought a camera like that. Started doing my own research. And that's how I
do your own research.
I'm all for doing your own research, but if you're doing it from a point of view of ignorance, you're not going to get any results that are worthwhile using. You've got to actually study up and read what the human race has actually figured out already. And then if you feel so inclined, determine how valid that is. And then you can do your own research, because otherwise, how are you possibly going to interpret the results? You have no idea what you're doing. That's the funniest thing about Flurf experiments. They do experiments without even thinking about what the conflating variables are. Like they do lasers over water. So, we saw it from 30 kilometers away or whatever. But they're doing it through an atmosphere. There's refraction involved. They usually do it when it's cold, when the refraction is the highest. It's so ridiculous that it's so obvious that they're doing it wrong, and yet they think they've got something. It's that's why there is a debunking community, because Flurfs are so ridiculous in the way they go about things.
And you did it. You're not just taking someone else's word for it.
That's right. Yeah. First Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things and stand fast.
Yeah, you shouldn't just take someone's word for it, but if you can verify it, you can't ignore it. That's what Flurfs do. You give them evidence all the time that they're wrong, and they just ignore it.
Which is good. Yeah, so that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is my brother.
So,
So,
so
go
Yeah, you can.
So stupidity is genetic, apparently.
He brought it to my attention, and I said, and he's my younger brother, and I told him, he says, you're a crazy idiot. My number one thing is the Bible. And I said, Stephen, if it was flat, it would be.
The Bible is not a science textbook. I mean, I'm all for people who have a faith. That's between you and whatever God you believe in. But if you're going to use stupid arguments, I'm going to criticize you for it.
In the Bible. He said it is over 250 times. So then I went home and started doing my own research. And it took me about 6 months, and I finally I went from the globe to I know it's flat. I don't believe it anymore. I know it's flat.
Yeah.
And yet you're saying your evidence is the Bible, but there's no evidence that it's not. There's no evidence in the Bible. There's no science in the Bible. So yet you're saying you know it's flat? You're not basing it on anything from reality. You're just basing it on stories that you can't verify yourself.
Yeah. So you'd say this is like a really big spiritual like confirmation as well as a physical thing. So you were talking about going out and testing it for yourself. Would you feel like there's like a big God stamp or some stamp of approval kind of on this whole thing too?
Yes, I mean, again, my number one thing is the Bible.
Yeah.
But now I have I've spread the word to many people, and my number one thing is, hey, do you believe in the Bible?
And so, as I was showing earlier, this is all about, yes, what a slow learner, Clive Davis. As I was saying earlier, this is a misinterpretation of the Bible. These guys don't know Hebrew. They can't look up the original words and see what the author meant. They haven't researched what the context for writing those words were. So they don't really understand what the original author meant. They've just read the English version, which has been translated to buggery, and they just assume the English one is faithfully translated. I've actually been in a theological college. Every minister you speak to has had advanced academia to learn how to interpret the words of the Bible as accurately as possible. And even then, there are so many concordances written and they all disagree with each other. If you believe in God, you've also got to believe that man is fallible, and anything done by man is also going to be fallible. You can't just believe, as Kyle says, take what someone else told you to think in terms of the Bible and accept it. It doesn't work that way. You've got to apply your own standards, Kyle, to yourself as well.
Numerous times, no, from people.
Yeah.
And so then I lay out my other things, the eyesight, and looking across the Great Lakes, from Michigan to Chicago.
Oh yeah, that was a really big one for me.
And so it didn't take me long after seeing this in simple things, And now I don't know how I ever believed it was right.
Yeah.
I never believed I was that dumb.
Yeah. So has it just been you two and your family so far that have
my whole entire family's on board.
Oh, right.
My entire family's on board.
That's what I said. Stupidity is hereditary. Hey, Mr. 42's here. I hope you saw the beginning, Mr. 42. I've encouraged people to go and start one of your playlists so that you get your hours up. And of course, I'll be seeing you on Monday, my time, to look at Level Earth Observer.
Yes, I'm very blessed with that because I know a lot of people have problems.
Yeah.
My whole family's on board.
Cool.
Well, I think we've done enough with this video. Time's getting on. Let's go on to the next one. Now, this is where Kyle, he's doing a Dell here. He goes to a university and talks to some students. And you've got to remember, students are there to learn. So by definition, they don't know anything yet, or know very little. And they don't have, by definition, because they're young, they don't have a lot of experience of the world yet. Now, that's not a bad thing because, everyone goes through that phase, but that doesn't mean that they're experts in anything, usually. So, yes, let's watch Kyle try and manipulate them into believing that the Earth is flat. Oh, music, so I've got CC on, yep.
Don't believe in, would you consider that to be a lie?
If I say something I don't believe in,
If you say something that you don't believe in, that is a lie.
that is a lie, yeah.
To say something you don't believe in. right? Have you ever taken a test where you are required to say something that you don't believe in order to get credit?
Oh, yes.
Okay, on a Scantron test, you've got four answers. You got A, B, C, or D, right? A, B, C, or D on a Scantron test, right? But you don't see an answer there that you actually agree with. Are you being forced to lie on that test?
Yes.
You're being forced to lie.
He's very manipulative, isn't he? Yes. So these guys are basically saying they get 4 options and they don't agree with any of them. Picking one is lying. That's not really true. They know the answer has to be there. And it's just that they don't know the answer because they're young and they haven't done their study properly, really. So, yeah, that's not really lying. It's just taking a guess.
Or maybe I don't know the truth, though. Maybe you just don't know the truth. It's just, wait a minute. Maybe it's like the most random.
Okay, here,
It's the least wrong. I feel like it depends, though.
okay. Gas as we know it.
Yeah, sometimes the choice is which is the least wrong. And that's what they're asking you to do because that requires critical thinking to be able to determine which is the least wrong.
Expands in a vacuum.
You have all this memorized?
Gas as we know it expands in a vacuum. Okay, you put gas into you break the seal in a vacuum, that gas goes everywhere. It just fills the vacuum really quick, right?
This is a chestnut that Carl will repeat a lot.
It doesn't clump together, right? NASA claims the gas clumps together in the vacuum of space to form stars, okay? And then it explodes, and yeah, the gas clumps together in the vacuum of space, and then explodes and turns into a star, okay?
Wrong. Stars do not explode. Well, they do at the end of their life, but not at the beginning of their life. They accumulate enough mass to ignite at the nuclear level, and that's how a star is born. It's not that it explodes.
We don't observe gas clumping together in a vacuum, though.
Yes, we do. That's what nebulas are. So we do observe it. You're just choosing to ignore it, you fool.
Expands and fills up the whole vacuum. So if you are forced on a test to say that stars are formed by gas clumping together in a vacuum, would you say that is being forced to lie on your test?
They're starting to realize that he's a bit of an idiot. You can see it on their faces. Oh, wrong screen.
That's like way above my pay grade for sure. No, he's making me think. That's not, wait.
And as they're demonstrating, they're too young to really understand, where he's wrong. They just know that he's wrong and they don't know how to answer.
I've never been in a star.
Okay, would you?
I got no idea about that one. I feel like that's just false. I feel like NASA just made that up and like it's just not even real.
Totally made that up.
Even like sitting in outer space and really.
What you feel is irrelevant. You might feel that, but who cares what you feel like? What's your evidence? That's what you've got to come back to. That's how you critically think.
That's fine.
Hey, that means the whole government's lying to us, bro.
Okay, think about that. That's like
Look at the smile on his face. He didn't mean that in any other way. He meant that sarcastically. And yet Kyle didn't pick up on that. What a surprise.
the sun. You talk about the sun. NASA claims the sun is a star. That's the way that they say the sun was formed, by gas clumping together in a vacuum, right? And yet, if that's a test question, you're forced to say that or get docked, right?
I know what you mean. That's fact.
So
it's like they're forcing their stuff on you.
are you allowed to disagree in the test? You're not allowed to disagree.
Because honestly, just system is flawed. System is
It's not about being disagree. It's about whether or not you're wrong, you idiot.
flawed.
So what do you think? What do you suggest needs to be done to
I
fix the
feel like it
testing
should be
system?
screw multiple choice and then give like open answers.
Open answers.
And also like a different like plethora of answers.
Yeah, we still need to show that we understand the curriculum. We need to show that we understand that we listen to the
Yeah,
class.
we open it up.
But
All right. So you do get that.
we need to be allowed to disagree. We need to be able to have the room.
You can disagree, but you'll be marked wrong. And yes, there's been a few requests for it. So
Gravity, you fucking retard! You fucking retard! Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity! Gravity! Now I need a cigarette. Now I need a cigarette.
and let's move on to the next video with that. Let the music play.
You
Oh,
put
here we go.
gas into a vacuum. That gas expands and fills the entire vacuum, right?
So he's doing the chestnut again. This girl can't be more than 20, I think.
Yes.
Right.
And note the title of this: Education versus Indoctrination.
You know how stars are formed?
No.
Okay, NASA claims that the gas clumps together in the vacuum of space so tight that it explodes and turns into a star.
Note he's picked someone who doesn't know what he's talking about. So instead of speaking to a physics professor who knows all this stuff and has studied everything to know about it, he talks to someone who has no idea.
Does that make any sense to you?
Somewhat.
Okay, so how does that happen?
I don't know. That's something that
Shall I play the gravity clip again? No, we haven't got time for that.
I should have probably known, but
Yeah. Okay, so if that's
Well, if you're doing a physics degree, you probably should know. But if you're doing an arts degree like Kyle did, you've got no reason to know that.
a test question, right? And you're forced to say that gas clumps together in a vacuum to form stars, and you don't agree with it because we don't observe that happening anywhere.
Nebulas, you retard. Nebulas. You ever heard of nebulas? No, I won't do that.
Because we know that gas expands. Would you feel like that's being forced to lie on a test?
almost, because I don't know, I feel like if you're not learning it, then
Like, you know the answer that they
Yeah.
want you to say,
Yeah.
but you don't agree with their answer.
Yeah.
But if you tell them a different answer, oh, you're getting docked.
Agreeing with it is irrelevant. Is it correct? Can it be verified? You not agreeing with it, it's so stupid, I can't even get the words for it. You might disagree that the sky is blue. That doesn't stop it being blue.
yeah, then I definitely feel like, I don't know, I feel like that's what students do. I think you just want the right answer. You will go with what, like, ever teachers want you to know, I guess.
Would you call that
I'd almost guarantee this person's an arts student.
indoctrination?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a
It's not indoctrination if you can support it with objective evidence, unlike flat Earth.
problem that needs to get fixed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're not actually learning. I feel like it's just more, I want to get a good score.
Indoctrination is the process of teaching a person or group a set of beliefs uncritically.
So in other words, like every video Kyle's ever put out.
If you are forced to agree with your teacher or get docked, that is indoctrination.
No, it isn't. It means you got it wrong and you should be marked against it. And the key word there is uncritically. That's a word that flirfs do not understand. They think disagreement is criticizing it and being critical thinking. Critically means looking at it as objectively as possible and determining what is most likely to be the truth. Flirfs have no idea how to do that. They do it the other way around. They say, I want this to be the truth. What can I twist to give me some sort of sense that I've supported it? The facts should inform your opinions, not the other way around. There's not much left of this, so that, oh, actually, it's getting quite late. I might just jump to the tomb one. Or skip that one. Gee, I didn't realize we were so late. Let's have a quick look. What speed have I got? Yep. What speed have I got at his debate with MC Toon? And we'll see what Kyle has to say about it.
MC Toon got into a debate against Alex Stein on the channel Modern Day Debate. And I'll just say, his opening argument.
Sorry, it's not with Kyle, it's with Alex Stein, as Kyle said. But Kyle's comments are interesting.
Are certainly ones well worth remembering. I'll let you go see those for yourself here.
And here's round one coming up.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Amy. If you don't know me, I'm MC Toon, not Mick Toon, but people who disrespect me call me Mick Toon. That's all right. So this is one of the 15,000. There's a very nice archive of scans of the original photographs on Flickr. There's another set of scans from Arizona State University. There's a couple more. I can give references, anybody who's interested in them. I will give on my website, mctoon.net/moon. All of the evidence that I have is right on there, mctoon.net/moon. But this particular image I like a lot because you can see the reflection of the photographer there in the visor. And you can get the super high res multi-megabyte version of it and zoom in all you want and have a good look at that. There is no fourth wall. It is a all the way around 360 degrees of moon right there. There's quite a few actual photographs that include the visor. So look at those. It's pretty nice.
All right. So his first argument for the moon landing is the visor effect, which I will agree qualifies as evidence. However, is it proof that the moon landing actually happened? No. That doesn't disprove the possibility that this was actually a reflection of a film set. Not all film sets are required to have a studio audience with all this clutter and equipment lying around.
Another thing that they have,
and that's his argument. he said that not all film sets are required to have all this equipment lying around, and that's proof that it was faked.
done that is some fantastic evidence for the moon landing is they have done some high resolution scans of photography of the moon landing sites. This one is Apollo 11, and here's a close-up of it. You can see both the tracks from the rover and the footprints from the astronauts walking around. You can see there kind of a little bit to the right, you can see the actual lander, and then a couple of the different experiments that they left when they took off, including somewhere close to it is the actual rover. Those so that is the main thing that I'd like to point out.
The main thing he would like to point out is this picture of tracks on the moon's surface that NASA claims is an image taken by one of their spacecraft, which we can't
No, it wasn't. It was taken by the Chinese spacecraft.
verify for ourselves here on Earth.
Sorry, no, I'm wrong. It's by the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. But the Chinese spacecraft has verified that. The Chinese have no reason to verify the US, do they?
Just have to take NASA's word for it. So here,
No, you can do some research and verify it yourself. Look at the Chinese photos.
we are questioning, did the moon landing happen? Which is questioning whether or not NASA told the truth. And his main point, we know that NASA told the truth because NASA said so.
No, because there's evidence on the moon itself that they went there. And this is just one piece of evidence. There's heaps of independent evidence. Nothing to do with NASA. Now, the Chinese orbiter, for example, was one example. But when Apollo went up, thousands of amateur astronomers all over the world filmed the Saturn V rocket going up and then the command module and lunar module heading to the moon and coming back. Astronomy Live did that for the Artemis 1 mission. This is all evidence that's independent of NASA, independent of the US. And yet you just choose to ignore it.
The photographic evidence is not just a small amount, it's a gigantic amount.
And there's argument number 3. We have a gigantic amount of photographic evidence.
You seem to edit it strangely, Kyle. I wondered what MC2 was going to say just after that. We'll have to go back to the original and do our own research, won't we?
Believing the moon landing actually happened because there are lots of photos is like a little kid believing in Cookie Monster, since there are tons of photos of Cookie Monster. It really
Cookie Monster does exist. He's a puppet.
really doesn't matter how many photos or how much video footage you claim has been taken from the moon. If you want to say there are thousands of hours.
Oh, good. So you're saying all photographs are fake and you can't use photographic evidence at all. So the photographs of balloons where Earth seems to be flat, that's fake too. I mean, I actually think it is fake. But that's what, if you saw Rad Vlad yesterday on MC2's channel, he presented that as evidence that the Earth is flat. So I think you know where this is going, and I'm getting tired of this, to be honest. And we're almost out of time. So let's jump to Meme Roundup. Again, thanks to Where's Wally for a couple of these. The rest I got myself. You have the right to believe in any fairy tale you choose. Something that I've said many times. You and your fairy tale are not protected from ridicule. I'd modify that slightly. Your arguments for it are not protected from ridicule if they're bad arguments. If you've got good arguments, that's a different matter. Now, here's a flurf meme. All of these devices prove Earth am flat. And the thing is, a misunderstanding of the only way they prove Earth am flat is a misunderstanding of all of these. And that's not a theodolite. Jeez. That's 2 tubes of water in them, you idiot. All of these actually prove the globe. They wouldn't work unless they're on a globe. Camera P900. God, they're stupid. And it's just a little bit of funny thing. Half-off haircuts. It's a mass sort of thing. So the guinea pig goes in, gets a half-off haircut, and half his hair is cut off. So he goes in again to get it done again, and half of his remaining hair gets cut off. And it's going to take forever. Yes, because you can never cut half off forever. Because it's half of half of half of half of half. And this is a cute one. When you've been researching geography and astrophysics and someone who hasn't spent 30 seconds looking in the subject says, NASA lies, there is no gravity, you sheeple. Oh, bless your heart. And this is a global modification of a Flurf meme, which said the stupidest things. But this is a much better one to propagate. So I'll propagate this one. And this is just a funny meme. Dear mother of a North Carolina state student, please rethink your license plate because of what it says, or how you read it anyway. I don't think she thought through that. I mean, she is from Pennsylvania, blah, blah. And to finish off, the Flurf says, I've done my own research. Have you even bothered to Google it? And that's it for Meme Roundup today. Oh, I've lost my notes. Here we go. Where am I up to? So if you've seen a silly meme lately, let me know. So send it to me. The contact details are in the description of this video. If it's fit for general consumption, I'll probably show it. I haven't received any except from Where's Wally, so it'd be nice if other people would send me some. I see lots on the internet and on the X platform. On Facebook and the X platform, I meant to say. But I'd like to get some from you and see your stuff. Let me know who you'd like me to look at in the near future by leaving a comment below. I appreciate all suggestions. Tomorrow, I'm going to look at a selection of Flurfs, looking at various idiotic things they say, inspired by the videos of Everett Anderson, whose channel I encourage you to watch. He seems to find the most obscure Flurfs, so I won't look at any of them individually, but the things they say is hilarious. And don't forget, Mr. 42 will join me on Monday to look at Level Earth Observer. Do the YouTube things, like the stream, subscribe, click join, leave a comment. I love to read your comments. And in particular, if you're one of the few who watch my videos who aren't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below this video on your screen. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. I think that just about does us. There's nothing left to do but cue the corgi.
You're despicable.